This is Monsteropolis, show about anomalies, legends, and monsters. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Seth Breedlove. I'm joined, as always, by my pal, Mark Matsky.
Hello there.
And his pal, Heather Mosier.
Hi.
Hi, pal.
Hey.
We are welcoming you to the special episode right now. Listen, hey, real
It's been
quick.
a long time coming for this one.
Real quick, Bigfoot Project Episode 1 should be out for channel members by the time this episode of Monsteropolis drops. If you're a channel member, go watch it. If you're not a channel member, join the channel and watch it. I think that's it. This week's episode is a mailbag. Much to Andy Matsky, showrunner Andy Matsky's chagrin, this week's episode is a mailbag episode. All right, mailbag, but I don't know what emails we've read last. Did we read Peggy Curtis's email about new Loch Ness evidence?
No.
Okay, what about on the same day, Nathan Keege's episode idea? I'm going to say no if we didn't read the Loch Ness thing.
No.
There's email from a listener wanting to come to the cabin in Minerva, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a Monsteropolis listener, you probably don't know about all the excitement during the last shooting of filming.
Wait, you mean if you're not a channel member?
What did I say?
You said a Monsteropolis listener?
Yeah, that's what I meant. If you're not a channel member, you don't know about all the excitement we had during... Andy's already bristling. This is terrifying. You guys have no idea what it's like recording this show now with Andy watching you. I get on, I start getting nervous. My palms get sweaty. He starts making faces within the first minute of the show. Like you gotta move it along. Anyway, we experienced quite a bit of activity. Are we able to talk about this on the show, Mark? Do you mind if we just real quick dip our toe into...
Why not? It happened.
Okay, so Mark is 100% a Bigfoot believer now. He knows they are real, and he has encountered one for himself.
They held their hands.
Yep.
So we traipsed through the forest. It was...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what... The thing that is going... How much can we talk about? The whole thing? The whole schmeal?
No, why not?
Well, I think the...
Heather doesn't
No,
agree.
I mean, you were just saying if you're a channel member and teasing that out, and then you're like, yeah, just go ahead and tell them all.
Well, this episode's a long time off. Everyone's going to forget about it by the time it goes out.
All right, that's fine.
Can we just let me set the stage first? So
Set the
it was a Mark
Dark
and
stormy
Seth.
night.
It was a Mark and Seth special episode of Bigfoot Project. Mark and myself went out to the cabin. We got there kind of late in the evening. Heather didn't even go out with us. So it was pretty much just Mark and I on a Thursday night alone in the woods. And we had some stuff happen, which we'll get to in a minute. But it was kind of it was almost like Sasquatch in the field is what it felt like. And so I'm excited for old Sasquatch listeners to watch this episode. And it will be episode 2, actually, of the show. So that will be the December episode of Bigfoot Project.
That's wild. That's like coming fast.
Yeah.
Coming fast. Yeah, and it was interesting to me because there's a little bit of a pattern emerging of activity happening on the first night that somebody's down there at the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And, across accounts and literature and so forth, that seems to be sort of a pattern overall. As people come into places, there's a flurry of activity at first, and then it sort of settles down, which I suppose makes a certain amount of sense. If there's something out there sort of doing its thing, and then you show up, it reacts to that and then settles in to see how long are you going to hang around for. So I don't know if that is part of it, but that was a portion of our experience, I think.
What was the most memorable event?
Well, the most memorable event was probably having something whiz by my head, seemingly on a horizontal track, and that gets your attention pretty quickly. I think overall, though, it was the whole process of discovering and casting our own print in Minerva, Ohio, was pretty interesting, pretty exciting, and then to get the feedback that we've gotten on it already is pretty satisfying. Really interesting. I never thought I'd be part of a team that would get a legitimate Bigfoot track. I just didn't imagine it happening, and it seems to have happened.
Yeah. In Minerva.
In Minerva, yeah.
In Minerva. By the way, we talked multiple times on the show, and I think one time you maybe asked me the question, or someone asked me the question, if you could have a sighting anywhere, where would it be? And my answer was Minerva, Ohio.
Aww.
And this was like 5 years ago.
Aww.
So it's a fitting conclusion to that. Not conclusion, but
yeah.
it's full circle.
And it's done. The end.
I've actually decided I'm done with this entire subject. But yeah, it was a very active weekend after a previous weekend that was far less active. So it's good to know they're in there. And Cliff called me yesterday and we were talking for a little bit about the track and everything. And one thing he told me, I expressed my concern that it would get quiet in there. And he said he doesn't think he said the data leads him to believe they don't travel that far. And so he said, he thinks they're going to be around. And I said, like, do you think there's a, like what kind of range? And he's like, well, he's like, it's not much. He's like maybe 7-8 miles. So 7-8 miles where we are, they're going to be close. Like they're going to be close by.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. They're not going to go 7-8 miles in one direction
into
in particular.
Minerva.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was cool because I'm hoping, I'm putting together like a wish list of researchers I want to get out. Cliff is going to come out probably in May, and so he'll be out at the cabin, and hopefully we'll get to experience some stuff with him. I really want to get Chris Spencer and Rebecca.
Oh yeah,
out there. There's just like Shane. I want to have Shane come out. There's like all these people I'd love to get out there. If I'm still allowed to be out at the cabin at that point.
Why would that change?
I don't know. All right. So emails. What do we have? The mailbag.
Well, we have there. In addition to the ones that you mentioned, there was a question for me,
Ooh.
and there was a second half of an email that we didn't get into last time. That had to do with the mutilation. So there's lots to choose from. What do you think? Where should we go first?
Go to the one that addresses you.
Okay. Let me pull that up. Okay, here we are. This question is for Mark. You may have answered this in the past. The vast majority of religious leaders would never entertain the idea that paranormal creatures and events happen. However, you openly embrace these possibilities. Could you explain what got you interested in it and why you believe in the possibility that some or all of these could be real? And then continuing on from there, I really enjoy the way Yins present the stories without trying to put your own bias on the subject. Most filmmakers try to sway the viewers one way or another. I live in Ohio, about minutes from Wheeling, West Virginia. I've never heard anything about Bashful Billy prior to Dark Skies. It seems like a lot of communities try to sweep sightings under the rug instead of investigating things properly. That sighting directly links these types of creatures with the Flatwoods Monster sighting. Anyway, I'm looking forward to what you have for us next year, and that's from David.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, to answer the question, what got me interested in it, first of all, was TV. Believe it or not, it was Bigfoot and Wild Boy on Saturday morning TV. It was $6 Million Man Bigfoot episodes. It was In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy when I could get up the courage to watch it as a little kid. That was kind of scary. And then that sent me to the library, and that's really what it's been ever since. That's how it started. That's what it's been ongoing is digging into the books about the subject, and then only within like the past 6 or 7 years, then adding to that actual in the field experiences. So that's, I guess, the interesting thing, perhaps in light of the question that's asked, is that my parents always encouraged me to read. I was kind of an early reader, sort of an experiment almost. We won't get into that right now, but I was always reading. I always remember reading. And so I think the principle was whatever he's going to read, we'll just let him go. And so I got very familiar with the section in the library where it was
books with Fabio on the cover.
Yeah, right. Those long flowing locks. It got to a point where, I wouldn't even check the title anymore.
Oh boy, it was that kind of experiment.
But no, it's that's been it. So that gets you into a number of different interest areas, because back like in the late 80s, a lot of these books were compilations. Every so often you'd have like a dedicated book about Bigfoot, but a lot of them were catch-all books. And so you would have ghosts and UFOs and Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster all in this one volume. So that's how I got interested in it. And why I think it's possible is just that this is something I've talked about a lot, and I always try to think of an interesting way to say it, but a biblical worldview to me does not preclude mysteries. In fact, it assumes that mystery is woven into reality. So there's no contradiction. There's no way to make it all fit together. It just is. There's things that we don't know about. And part of the fun is going out to find those things if that's possible, and the chase of that. So that's sort of my little talk on that regard.
This is Pastor Mark Matzke's sermon for the day.
Yeah. But it's fun. And I think what I find interesting is for 23 years I've been a pastor, and you sort of live in a sphere of relationships because of that. And my interest in these subjects has gotten me outside of that more than any other thing. So just talking to people, getting to know people wherever they're at, for me, that's been very important and a meaningful thing for me. So that's it. I thank you, David, for asking.
What did we read this Hayden Gilbert, the Burger Gate follow up? I don't remember if we.
No, I don't think so.
Should we do this?
Yes, we really should.
So this is a two part email. Burger Gate is the subject.
I'm glad you remembered that. I would have forgotten this.
When discussing which monsters you would love to do a feature on, but most likely won't, it's a shame hearing that the Dover Demon Witness will not speak about the event anymore. Imagining a small-town monsters documentary that plays out in real time like an episode of 24 sounds so propulsive and exciting, but who knows, hopefully one day that could happen. It's kind of like Bigfoot Project. I mean, it's not real time by any stretch of the imagination. I think real time could get real boring with what we do.
And when the difference is things are happening with the Bigfoot Project. Dover Demon was kind of a one-shot. I mean, nobody's having repeated Dover Demon sightings,
unfortunately,
that I'm aware of. So there's some differences between the two.
Okay, so this was originally asked in another email, and I thought we put it in because we recorded it, but it was a long episode, and I decided to cut it out. Even though it was hinted at in the episode description, my original third question was never asked on air. Or maybe it was cut for time. But now it must be said. Top 3 fast food burgers. Go, Mark.
Okay. I don't know if I can even replicate what I said, but the number 1 with the bullet is the Galley Boy from Swenson's.
We're going for Mexican after this, but man,
I know.
That sounds real good.
Yeah, so that's my clear number 1. And then I like the Shake Shack. Oh, what's it called? Yeah, Smoke Shack, because there's bacon on it.
So Andy,
thank you.
Slowly, like he was turning to you as you started answering.
I appreciate it. Well,
he knew.
Yes. And then number 3. Oh boy. Did I say Five Guys?
You mentioned it.
Yeah, Five Guys is a good quality burger for sure.
Yeah.
I've all of a sudden I've gotten into mushroom burgers, like mushroom and Swiss on top of the actual burger, and doesn't matter where I go, I'll try out there.
The worst thing I've ever done is the peppercorn with the like blue cheese peppercorn crap. Don't make that mistake.
Yeah.
Don't make that mistake.
We've gotten some good Red Robin burgers, I
Yeah.
feel like, but
You
I
and
don't
had a
remember
good
what
Red
they
Robin
were.
burger out in Washington State once.
Yeah.
Heather, fast food hamburgers, go.
Okay, well, mine would be like Wendy's. I like their burgers.
All right, nailed it.
Yeah. I've actually never been to Swenson's, so I can't speak to that. I
Okay,
don't know
we'll
what
rectify
that
Yes, this must be
Yeah.
changed.
is. Yeah.
You
and-
need a galley boy and a mint whip. Just
Yeah.
remember that.
And then I guess I don't know. I just stick to Wendy's for burgers,
All right.
McDonald's,
Wow.
and then I don't know.
Wow.
2
I'm
visits to
serious,
Wendy's.
dude. I don't. I'm bad at this.
Dave
All right.
Thomas is
Yeah.
smiling somewhere.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff.
I'll go Five Guys. Really love that burger. Really love my
What do you get on it at Five Guys?
just everything.
Okay.
I really love the triple beef at In-N-Out Burger. You gotta do, In-N-Out.
So that's 3 patties.
Three
Is that-
patties, and then you
Wow.
get all the cheese in the world, and then you get as much on it as possible, but you also got to get a strawberry milkshake. All right? And then I'll go Galley Boy as my third.
Nice.
So
I don't know what
I do miss In-N-Out a lot. In-N-Out was great. I like Wendy's burgers. I've also, because of Tommy becoming obsessed with Andy's so ready for this thing launch. I also, because of Tommy eating so many Happy Meals, I've started rediscovering my love for just a plain old double cheeseburger from McDonald's.
Yeah.
So
Growing up, the quarter pounder was like my go-to.
look at this.
Good. You're good.
Yeah.
The episode's already gone, so it's fine.
All right. What's up next? Nathan Kigi, episode idea. Hi guys, I'm a big fan of the podcast and all the video content you produce. I live in Pennsylvania and thought the cryptids of Pennsylvania would make an interesting episode for your podcast. White Bigfoot, Squonk, Alba Witch, etc. would complement the Chestnut Ridge episode nicely. Just shooting you guys an idea. Thanks for all you do and keep up the good work. I think that's an excellent idea. And maybe showrunner Andy Matsky
I like it.
could make a note of that one.
Yeah, I'll make a note.
He's making a note right now. And then we do nailed it.
It was bad.
I liked how it took you like 20 minutes to find it. What you frantically looking at. I thought you were making a note. Okay, so Peggy Curtis wrote us an email. New Loch Ness Monster evidence. Hi, Seth, Mark, and perhaps Heather. I wanted to send you guys these 2 new stories
Perhaps
on the Loch
so.
Ness Monster to get your opinion on it. The first link is about drone footage taken by a guy making a film about a canoe trip he was taking for charity. The second link is about sonar footage caught by an LNM researcher. I love lake monsters. I have the STM Support Your Local Monster tee with the Lake Monster logo. I'd love to hear your take on this new evidence. The New York Post thing was pretty conclusively discovered to be a hoax. In fact, I think STM poster artist Sam Sheeran
Yep.
was the one who debunked that.
Yep.
So basically, it looked like they just took the Loch Ness Monster from what, like
It was a toy, wasn't
it
it?
was a toy, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and they just photoshopped it in there.
Mhm.
Which is not that dissimilar from how I created one of the thumbnail images for the Champ series on YouTube. So
Was it you?
no, but it's nice to see that someone can get
Huh.
New York Post headlines by simply creating that an image like that. The other one I haven't read about. Had you looked at that? The sonar footage thing?
No, I didn't even know it was a thing.
I didn't either. So, Heather, where does the Loch Ness Monster rank for you in the pantheon of cryptids?
if you want me to be honest,
Yeah.
I don't really care about lake monsters.
Oh, wow. Just got chilly in here.
I don't know. That's low on my list.
What about lock monsters?
Oh, well, I'll give you points for saying lock instead of lake. Yeah, that reminds me of a story that I told the kids. I'd like make stories up for them at night because we used to read stories, and then we'd make up stories, and I'd have them add to it. And we had a story about Bongo the Yeti. Yeah, I called him Bongo the Yeti. He had
My favorite Yeti.
yeah, Bongo the Yeti, and he would go visit the Loch Lake monster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there were other.
Did they have adventures or what?
Yeah, the
what
Loch
happened?
Lake monster was very, very grumpy. He had
because you didn't believe in him, probably.
Bongo's also not very good at being a Yeti.
Oh.
He's lonely and also doesn't understand why people are afraid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And the Loch Lake monster is
How
a
many people did Bongo horrifically murder? Because that's what our viewers want to know, man.
None. Zero.
Okay.
It
No
is a
murders?
Children's story.
Moving along then. Hi, Seth and Mark. I love Monsteropolis and small town monsters films in general. The films are a huge leap above the typical Monster Hunter documentaries and TV shows, and the podcast is a terrific look into the research and sausage making behind the films. That's actually a good way of putting it when it comes to Monsteropolis. I think a lot of people tune into Monsteropolis having no idea what the show is, but it really is a weird like blending of behind the scenes looks at STM and also a brief glimpse into the topics that make up the films. One thing that cracks me up is how much you talk about the food you eat while out filming. I think you should start a vlog profiling your favorite restaurants on the road and call it Small Town Diners. Keep up the good work, Kelly Doran. Great idea.
You're very opinionated on pizza now when it comes to Minerva.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to throw them under the bus because
Sure,
it's like
don't
it's
throw
a
'em under the
small.
bus, but your favorite one now is.
Yeah, your pizza downtown Minerva. Not my favorite pizza in the world. Or
No,
anything,
but
like
in
good,
the area.
In the area, good pizza. Your pizza downtown Minerva. Check it out. Head over there right now, regardless of where you are.
Start driving.
Yeah.
Hop in the
Is
car.
that what we had?
Yes.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. It was good, right?
That's all he'll ever eat now. At the cabin.
Yeah. Well, she
tried other.
No,
pizza?
she tricked me. There was my favorite former. I'm not, but like there's a chain that is in that part of Ohio, and there was one of the franchises was in Bolivar. It's my favorite pizza in the world.
That anybody who's around would
Another
know exactly what you're
business.
talking
They have no idea which branch I'm talking about. Another franchise location. She ordered pizza and it came and it was like cardboard covered in and
sausage.
ketchup.
That's a little rough. Okay.
All right. Andrew Smith sent us an email. Hello, Monsteropolis crew. On episode 145, you all discussed Creature of the Black Lagoon and other related real-life stories, including touching on the Loveland Frogman. It just so happened that a few days before that episode dropped, I was in Loveland, Ohio, near where an old college friend of mine lives. Hi, Matt. Anyway, once I realized where I was, I began trying to find any place in that area that references the Frogman, but couldn't find any. I asked a lady who works in At Home. I think he added in.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Asked a lady who works at home. He went to like a lady's house and asked her. Yeah.
I don't think that's what he meant.
I think that's what he
No, I
means.
don't.
Andrew went up to some random lady in her home and asked if she knew the story. And she looked at me like I was crazy. Well, probably just because Andrew,
shouldn't have gone in there.
most people aren't used to like you walking into their home. You thought it was a business or that You saw a woman in her home through a window and assumed she was working, and just went in.
She's gonna quit emailing us.
Anyway, if you know of any place dedicated or semi-dedicated to the legend, please let us know. If not, I have some work to do in that area to get the situation
I
rectified.
like that.
All the best. Andrew Smith, Executive Director, Braxton County CVB, Flatwoods Monster Museum. Flatwoods Monster Museum plug right here in the glorious town of Sutton, West Virginia. That tiny bastion on the shores of the Elk River, down in the hills and hollers. Head on down there.
What?
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Loveland Frogman. So there used to be T-shirts and stuff you could get with the Loveland Frogmen on them from Loveland. I don't know
Like a
where.
grocery store.
Like
or
yeah,
something.
like a
Gas
grocery store.
station.
Did you go? Have you been?
No, I was just guessing.
Oh, wow. All right.
What? That's
fine.
normally what happens with T-shirts that have local stuff on it.
They show up in a gas station.
Yeah, dude.
All right.
You've traveled enough that they've got all kinds of touristy things at gas stations.
That is true. I have seen the world.
Through the eyes of a gas station.
That reminds me of my
Classy.
favorite. There's a song, one of those like charity songs. They got all the celebs together and they sang, "If I could see the world through the eyes of a gas station." My favorite part was when Billie Holiday sang.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Did she come out of retirement for that?
No, I
or?
mean, this is pretty old. They recorded it in 1920.
Oh,
But
well, okay.
It was great, great moment in music.
It was
What was the charity?
the war effort.
Oh,
You know,
man.
anticipating
Yeah.
it by a couple decades.
Anticipating the
Yeah, they were
war.
ready. They were ready. Buy war bonds. Listen to "If I Could See the World Through the Eyes of a Gas Station."
Oh boy.
All
right.
Bing Crosby, I
Bing
think,
Crosby.
was involved.
It was Fanny Crosby. It was-
Before she hit it big as a hymn writer.
Yeah. Before those hymns took off, she actually wrote that song. Okay. All right. We gotta. All right. So
Do
for
you
real,
want that mutilation letter?
yeah, yeah, just to get us back on track. But for real though, I
Okay.
do wonder.
Oh,
I
boy.
drove by Loveland like I don't know
Oh, yeah.
a few weeks ago for some reason. I don't know where it was that I drove past it, but I just wanted to let you know that I don't know if they have anything or not. I drove by. I drove by and I looked at the sign. I said, "Huh, Loveland.
Yeah.
I've never been there." And then I just kept driving.
There's really nothing there that commemorates
Not,
the sighting.
not from when I was there a few years ago.
No.
All right.
No little
Nothing-
love,
I mean, I think
Loveland frog
Little
statue or
something.
plaque. There
I
just
didn't- I
doesn't
mean, I didn't
exist.
Go everywhere in Loveland, but it's like,
So I scoured Loveland for evidence.
Hello.
So I'm sorry to bother you while you're working. However,
this seems to be some form of residence.
Boy.
Oh no.
okay. So
Yeah. Let's get serious.
yeah,
now.
let's get serious.
Let's talk about mutilations.
Yeah, well that'll do it.
Very sobering.
Macabre mutilations and the Mound Cemetery.
Yeah.
Oh, by the
So
way,
fun.
Just mutilations.
How?
this is part 2. It should be stated from Michael.
Okay.
Mound Cemetery in Marietta is a fascinating day trip for fans of folklore in Ohio. Not only does it have the most American Revolutionary War officer interments in the country, but these men also share their final resting place with people who lived and died in Ohio on roughly the same timeline as the penning of the Gospel of John.
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Showrunner Andy Matsky, for listeners, just had his mind blown. He was in the middle of
Oh, here
looking
we
at
go.
Twitter
Yes.
yeah,
and threw his phone on the ground.
Yeah, here is the next statement. Hopewell culture burial mound dating goes back to 100 AD.
that's it.
It is one of only a few of the famous Marietta earthworks maintained today, the rest flattened for construction projects progress, I guess. The first known investigation of the Marietta earthworks was conducted in 1786 by Captain Jonathan Hart, who thought it was probably an ancient fort. Hart's was also the first archaeological study in Ohio, and it wouldn't be the last to evaluate the site incorrectly. Benjamin Franklin became intensely interested in the Marietta earthworks, concluding that the project must have been fortifications built by Hernando de Soto in 1540. Later, leaders of the first 48 Revolutionary
so.
War veterans who established the first permanent settlement in the Northwest Territory at Marietta concluded after their investigation that the site originated either from Central American Toltecs or Scythians from Europe. You're like, yep.
Yeah, that checks
That
out.
checks
Mound Cemetery is now the final resting place of most of the first 48 of whom General George Washington claimed, "I know many of the settlers personally, and there never were men better calculated to promote the welfare of such a community." French General Lafayette of Revolutionary War fame said of the men in 1825,
Holy cow.
"They were the bravest of brave. Better men never lived."
Yeah.
So here we. Although Brutus, the Ohio State mascot, might disagree.
Uh-oh, did he eat him?
One of the 48 buried in Mound Cemetery is probably why those from Ohio are known colloquially as Buckeyes. Standing 6'4", Colonel Ebenezer Sproat was exceptional.
What just happened?
Sproat.
Oh, God.
Seth
That's different.
was exceptionally tall for the day. Friendly natives nicknamed him Haytuck, which meant Buckeye,
Yeah.
likening his height and strength to the tree. Finally, for those wondering, yes. Mound Cemetery is allegedly haunted.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sally Dodge Cram Green is said to wander the burial grounds in anguish, not because of how she died, but for what happened to her afterward.
Uh-oh.
Sally moved to Marietta in 1816, but died in Columbus in 1839. A January 1840 issue of the Ohio State Journal reveals the facts of her ghoulish end. And I quote, "She had been unfortunate and became deranged and was placed in the lunatic asylum in this city. While there, she sickened and died and was buried. Soon after her death, her son came for the purpose of removing the body to Marietta for interment, but, to his horror, found it had been taken away. He procured a warrant and proceeded to the medical institution at Worthington. The president of that institution denied the right of the officer to search. Search was made, and upon opening a trap door in the center of the building, the first object that met the eyes of the son was the body of his mother with the head mutilated. He had been informed by respectable authority that persons belonging to this institution dug up bodies not for anatomical purposes only, but for trade." End quote. And end email.
I don't like that.
No, I don't either. I thought internment butt was some sort of disease at that point in time.
Condition.
Yeah.
Mm.
Unfortunate condition, internment butt.
One to be avoided,
Yeah.
to be sure.
Yes. In the olden times, 100
There were a lot of
AD,
concerns.
there were many concerns about internment butt
Yeah.
amongst the Hopewell tribe.
As they were penning the gospel.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Another killer mailbag episode here on Monsteropolis.
Oh,
The question now is, do we even put this episode up on YouTube?
Oh, it will.
Okay. All right. Next week's episode is back on track, guys. We are getting into Stories of Thanksgiving.
That was
Is that what we're doing?
sure.
Yeah.
It'll do.
Yeah. Let's give thanks
Stories
appropriately.
of Thanksgiving. I'm ready. I'm going to talk about Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. So
And cranberries.
cranberries. We are. There's a lot of stuff coming up. If you're listening to this, it's tomorrow, and tomorrow is Friday, the November 5th,
You
which means
time traveler, you?
the day after today, November 5th, which will be November 6th, I will be at Chief Logan State Park, West Virginia. Oh dear. For Wild and Weird West
Oh.
Virginia Con. So come hang out with me and I'll high five you.
Autographs? Are you going to give autographs?
I'm gonna give you an autograph. I am not speaking. I will just be there. So there was some
So
concern.
don't try talking
There
to
was
me.
some
Yeah.
concern on my part that I was about to be asked to speak, and because someone had asked me if I was speaking, and I was like, no. And I started thinking about it. I was like, my face is really prominent on the poster. But it turns out I'm just there as a face. So
Nice.
come see my face.
Showing any flicks?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, my bad.
However, showing a flick there is our good friend, Darth Bill Lancaster. Bill Lancaster, who I haven't seen in probably, like 3 years? It
Yeah.
might have been in Washington.
Mhm.
I don't know that I saw
Mhm.
him after that. Next week, we'll be back to talk about COVID. And I can't stop.
Look at the
All right. The smalltownmonsters.com. Heather's new show. We got to talk about Heather's new show. So Heather has a new podcast. You can catch it. Hopefully by now it'll be on most major podcatcher platforms. We're trying to get it up everywhere, but it is available to watch on YouTube. The Lore You Know, posting every Wednesday on the STM YouTube channel and every probably Thursday on the loreyouKnow.podbean.com and all the podcasting platforms where podcasts post. So you can listen to it in audio or you can watch Heather talk to various people. Who's your guest for episode 2?
Seth Breedlove.
Whoa.
Man, you guys, you didn't know she was pulling in the A-list stars.
Are you gonna be here or on a computer?
I'm going to be on a computer.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's just going to be in the other room.
Yeah,
was
I'm in the other room talking to her on a computer.
Yeah.
No, her first episode was with Les Odell, and it's super cool. And yeah. Anyway, that's it. monsteropolismail@gmail.com if you want to contribute to a off the rails mailbag episode, or you can leave us a rating or review on iTunes. That's it. Goodbye.